Have you ever woken up at 2 a.m., no nightmares? No noise, you just opened your eyes and you were wide awake. I ask because I've been there, and so have many of my patients, just like you, still waking up like that night after night. I remember one night a few years ago. I went to bed like usual, 10 p.m., soft lighting, nothing unusual. But then I woke up in the middle of the night. I looked at the clock. 2:14 a.m. I stared at the ceiling, turned my head to the side, closed my eyes again, but couldn't fall back asleep. Have you ever felt that? That strange kind of alertness in total silence. And you wonder, why am I awake? I wasn't even worrying about anything. You're not alone. And no, this isn't just a normal part of getting older. I want to make this very clear. Insomnia isn't a price you're required to pay for aging. It's your body's way of whispering, gently but clearly, that something inside needs attention. So what's going on? When I started digging deeper, not just in my patients but in my own body, I found something surprising. Sleep in our later years doesn't get worse simply because we're older. It changes because the biological systems inside us shift, quietly, and we haven't learned how to shift with them. Microscope and science backs that up. According to Harvard Medical School, after age 50, your natural melatonin levels, the hormone that helps you fall into deep sleep, begin to drop significantly. You can still sleep, but it's lighter sleep. You're more easily awakened. And once you're up, it's harder to fall back into deep, restorative rest. WebMD also points out that fragmented sleep is one of the most common age-related patterns, especially when hormone imbalances, unstable blood sugar, or nighttime overactivity of the nervous system are in the picture. And Mayo Clinic Proceedings published a study showing that being awakened just once during deep sleep can reduce your body's recovery, cardiovascular, immune, and memory restoration by up to 30 to 40% the next day. Let me say that another way. Just one 2 a.m. wake-up could cost you the entire night's worth of healing that your body deeply needs. Broken heart, and yet, so many people just accept it. I had a patient, Linda, 67 years old, look at me with this calm, resigned voice. "Doctor, I've gotten used to it. I think it's just part of getting old. I just wish I could sleep 4 hours straight." I looked at her, and I told her something that I want to say to you now. You don't have to settle for broken sleep. You deserve to rest deeply again, and science can help you get there. Brain, but first, we need to understand your body better. Your body, after 60 years of non-stop work, is quietly adjusting itself. And unless you recognize that, you'll think you're just getting old. But no, you're not broken, you're changing. And we can learn how to change with you instead of fighting against it. Your nervous system becomes more sensitive. Your adrenal glands may release cortisol unevenly. Your bladder doesn't hold water the way it used to. Your blood sugar may rise and dip more easily than before. It's not failure. It's transition, and every transition deserves a little guidance. Herbs, so here's the first thing I want you to know. Not every bedtime drink is helpful. Sometimes that one healthy glass of water before bed, the one you've been told to drink, might be the very reason you're waking up. Cleveland Clinic explains that after age 60, levels of antidiuretic hormone, ADH, start to drop. That means your bladder sends full signals to your brain sooner, especially at night. Even a small glass of plain water can lead to that 2 a.m. bathroom trip. Footprints, and this is where our journey begins. I'm going to walk you through each major system that shapes your sleep. Your nervous system, your hormones, your electrolyte balance and muscle tone, and even the way your body handles a simple cup of warm almond milk or tart cherry juice. Because sometimes, all it takes is one small shift, at just the right time, to bring back something you thought you'd lost, a full, peaceful, uninterrupted night of sleep. You know, after that night I found myself awake at 2 a.m. I started looking at my own body, not as a doctor, but as a patient. I stopped listening to the ticking clock and started listening to the tiny signals inside me. And I asked myself a question: what's actually pulling me out of deep sleep? The answer wasn't one single thing. It was more like a symphony, an orchestra of moving parts. And if just one of those parts falls out of rhythm, the harmony of your sleep falls apart too. Violin System 1, the central nervous system, the silent conductor. Sleep isn't just the body resting. It's your brain making a conscious decision to disconnect from stimulation. But after age 60, your production of GABA, that calming neurotransmitter, starts to decline. Harvard Health Publishing. Think of GABA as a gentle conductor. When it's working well, your brain slows down, your heart rate settles, your muscles relax, and your breath evens out. But when GABA is low, or when your brain still picks up signals from the outside world, even tiny ones, you wake up. It could be a creaking floorboard, a faint hallway light, or just a strange sense of something off. One of my patients, Charles, 72, once told me, "I'm not worried about anything, but my brain just won't shut off." And that's exactly why drinks rich in magnesium, glycine, or apignin, which we'll talk about later, can help gently reset those brain waves and bring your nervous system back into rest mode. Repeat button system 2. The HPA axis, your body's stress broadcasting station. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and noticed your heart beating faster, for no reason? That might be your cortisol spiking quietly while you sleep. And it's incredibly common after age 55. Mayo Clinic. The HPA axis, your hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands, is the system that regulates your stress hormones. In younger years, cortisol follows a healthy rhythm, high in the morning, low at night. But as we age, that rhythm starts to fade. Some people still produce high cortisol at 11 p.m., others have spikes at 3 a.m. Out of nowhere. That's why you can wake up heart racing without feeling anxious at all. And this is where turmeric, specifically curcumin, shines. A study in phytotherapy research, 2019, found that curcumin helps balance the HPA axis, bringing nighttime cortisol back down to normal, especially when combined with black pepper and warm milk. Sometimes, a single cup of golden milk does something that no sleeping pill can. It tells your brain, you're safe now. Balance System 3. Electrolyte balance and muscles, the body's quiet voice. Have you ever been woken up by a leg cramp? Or a weird tension in your calf, like something was about to pull? Chances are you had a mild electrolyte imbalance, often low potassium or magnesium. As we age, we lose these minerals more easily through sweat, urination, or simply not eating enough nutrient-rich foods. WebMD reports that low potassium can increase nighttime urination, bladder overactivity, and even small muscular contractions that wake you up, without you knowing why. I remember Elaine, 69, who told me, "It's like someone gently tugging at my calf just before dawn." We checked her blood, potassium, just slightly below normal. We adjusted her diet, added a small glass of warm coconut water after dinner, and within days her sleep was smooth again. Sometimes the tiniest chemical in your blood is all it takes to change the way your body feels and sleeps. Light bulb system 4. Blood sugar and digestion, the overlooked culprits. This one surprises people. But according to Cleveland Clinic, mild nighttime hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, can quietly wake you up, especially if you eat too early or don't eat enough carbohydrates in the evening. Here's what happens. Your brain senses that your glucose is dropping, so it releases adrenaline to protect itself. It's not enough to make you feel panic, but just enough to open your eyes at 3 a.m. with your heart beating a little faster, a slight chill in your chest, and a feeling you can't quite explain. The solution isn't more sugar, it's slow, stable energy. Like a spoonful of raw honey mixed with warm water and a touch of apple cider vinegar. This mix helps stabilize glucose levels and gently encourages natural melatonin production from the liver. A simple, beautiful way to settle your system before bed. Crescent moon, so you see. Sleep isn't just about closing your eyes and hoping for the best. It's a conversation between your brain, your heart, your adrenal glands, your bladder, your muscles, and yes, even your stomach. Each part of your body is doing its best to protect you, but when it doesn't feel supported, it wakes you up to let you know, hey, I need your help. Pushpin, and in the next part of our journey, I'll walk you through gentle, science-backed drinks that nourish each of these systems, one by one, not just to help you sleep, but to help you sleep deeply, fully, restoratively. We'll begin with something simple, a warm cup of unsweetened almond milk. But that, my friend, is a story for next time. Are you still with me? I once heard a saying that stuck with me. Nothing is gentler than water, and nothing is more powerful if used the right way. In the last part, we explored 4 intricate biological systems that shape your sleep after 60. From your brain's rhythms to hormone imbalances, electrolyte shifts, and even quiet dips in blood sugar. And today, I want to share something that many older adults overlook for years. You don't need to give up your evening drink. You just need to change what you're drinking. Glass of milk, a cup of water is never just water. Back when I was younger, I used to drink a glass of plain water before bed. And honestly, I kept recommending that until I truly understood how an aging body holds water differently. As Cleveland Clinic explains, after age 60, your levels of antidiuretic hormone, ADH, begin to decline. That means your bladder becomes more sensitive and signals full much earlier than it used to. So even a small sip of plain water, if it's not the right kind, might be enough to wake you up mid-sleep. That's why I don't tell my patients to stop drinking at night. I simply tell them to switch the water to drinks that serve a biological purpose. And here's one of the first gentle allies I want you to meet. Chestnut warm almond milk, a blanket for your nervous system. Picture this. You're sitting in your favorite chair. It's a cool evening, and in your hands is a warm mug of almond milk. No sugar, no flavoring, just plain, unsweetened almond milk, soft and comforting. But why almond milk? According to Harvard Health Publishing, magnesium is an essential mineral that calms nerve cells, reduces overactivity, and helps the nervous system slowly switch off the extra lights. Almond milk, especially the unsweetened kind, naturally contains magnesium and tryptophan. Tryptophan is an amino acid your body converts into serotonin and eventually into melatonin, your sleep hormone. A 2014 study in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences found that older adults who drank almond milk twice a day for 2 weeks fell into deeper sleep, slept an average of 22 minutes longer, and woke up fewer times during the night. I know 22 minutes might not sound like much, but if you've ever struggled with broken sleep, you know that 22 minutes of deep rest can change the entire way your morning feels. Speech balloon, a little story. A lovely patient of mine, Jean, age 73, came to me exhausted. She had tried everything, melatonin pills, chamomile tea, even meditation. Still, every night, she was wide awake at 3 a.m. I didn't give her more pills. I simply said, "Tonight, instead of your usual water, try a half cup of warm almond milk. No sugar. Drink it at 8:30. Then use the restroom before bed." She laughed, "That's it." I smiled, "That's it." 1 week later, she came back. Her eyes looked brighter, and she told me, "I still woke up at 3 a.m., but this time I fell back asleep." Sometimes the change doesn't stop you from waking, but it gently helps you return. Light bulb the right substance, at the right time in the right amount. You don't need much, just 100 to 150 ml, about half a small cup. And don't drink it right before bed. The sweet spot is 60 to 90 minutes before you lie down. That gives your body time to absorb, digest, and release what it needs. So sleep can arrive like a gentle dusk, not a rushed blackout. Counterclockwise arrows button a small swap. A big change. What I want you to remember is this: sleep doesn't like being forced. It likes being invited. And you can invite it with the simplest things. A warm cup of almond milk, a soft bedside light, or a quiet moment where you whisper to yourself, "I'm safe now, I'm allowed to rest." A hot beverage coming up next. We'll continue our journey with other gentle drinks. Humble yet powerful, that calm stress hormones, restore electrolytes, and help you sleep through the night. Like a golden milk with black pepper, a pure chamomile tea, diluted warm coconut water, and gelatin drinks rich in glycine, your forgotten natural melatonin. You'll be surprised how just one small change each evening can begin to restore a part of your sleep you thought you lost forever. Have you ever laid in bed, eyes closed, but your mind felt like a midnight train with no destination? No real worries, no specific thoughts, and yet your brain just keeps going. You're not quite awake. But you're not sleeping either. You're just stuck in between. Repeat button, I call that. The body's lying down, but the brain hasn't come home yet. And most people who go through this share one thing in common. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is still active. Microscope, so what is cortisol? And what does it have to do with sleep? Cortisol isn't bad. It's the hormone that wakes you up in the morning, sharp, alert, energized. But if it doesn't switch off at night, you'll feel like someone gently shook you awake at 2 or 3 a.m. No panic. No fear. Just a body that refuses to fully rest. Mayo Clinic explains that after age 60, your cortisol rhythm can become disrupted. Instead of peaking in the morning and dropping at night, some folks experience random spikes in the middle of the night. And here's the odd part. You may not feel anxious, but you still can't sleep. That's cortisol, quietly keeping your brain on standby. Light bulb, and sometimes the solution isn't in a pill. It's in a warm cup of golden milk. I know. That might sound odd, but let me share a story. Speech balloon: the story of Bernard, 68, retired aerospace engineer. Disciplined man, clean lifestyle, no caffeine after 3 p.m. No screens in the bedroom, regular meals, but still, he couldn't fall into deep sleep. "Doc, I close my eyes," he told me, "but I can hear my heartbeat. My mind wanders back to little things from work, nothing urgent, nothing stressful. But I just can't shut it off." I didn't give him medication. I asked, "Do you ever drink turmeric?" "I cook with it, but I've never tried it as a drink." So I said, "Try this. 1 hour before bed, make a small cup of golden milk, turmeric with black pepper and warm milk. Choose a milk your body tolerates well, almond, oat, or dairy if it doesn't upset your stomach. But don't drink it on an empty stomach. Test tube: why does turmeric help? A 2019 study in phytotherapy research showed that curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, helps regulate the HPA axis. That's the communication highway between your brain and adrenal glands. When this axis is balanced, cortisol naturally drops and the brain transitions into rest and repair mode. But here's something important. Curcumin isn't easily absorbed on its own. That's why you add a pinch of black pepper, which contains piperine. Harvard Health reports that piperine can boost curcumin absorption by 7 to 8 times. And when you blend it into warm milk, you're not just getting better absorption. You're sending a subtle message to your nervous system. The day is over. It's time to rest now. Hot beverage: how to make the perfect golden milk for older adults. A half teaspoon turmeric powder, organic, pure. A pinch of black pepper. A 120-150 ml warm milk, unsweetened. Drink 60-90 minutes before bed. Avoid drinking it on an empty stomach. Best after a light dinner. You can add a touch of cinnamon for aroma. But skip the honey if you're managing blood sugar. Counterclockwise arrows button: a small change, a big difference. 3 weeks later, Bernard came back with a very different look in his eyes. "Doc, I still wake up sometimes, but my mind isn't tight anymore. I can fall back asleep, and in the morning, my head feels light." That's what happens when we stop forcing sleep and start welcoming it. Crescent moon sleep isn't something you chase down. It's something you create the right conditions for, and then gently invite in. And sometimes, a small cup of golden milk, at the right time made the right way, can be the bridge between a noisy day and a peaceful night. Direct hit in the next part. We'll meet another gentle remedy. Not golden like turmeric, but quietly powerful in its own way: chamomile tea. A drink that calms the racing mind and helps close the chapter of your day with one long, soothing breath. Have you tried it before? Let's find out together. Some nights you're not in pain, you're not hungry, you don't need the bathroom, you're just lying there, the house is quiet. The night is still, but your mind keeps spinning, like a ceiling fan with no off switch. All the small things from the day start looping in your head. The voicemail you didn't return, the package you forgot to pick up, some comment someone made. They swirl through your thoughts like dust in the air. I call this the brain that's not ready to come home yet. And that's when GABA needs to speak up. GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, is the brain's calming neurotransmitter. It's like a gentle conductor waving the orchestra to quiet down. That's enough for today, let's rest. When GABA levels are healthy, you feel sleepy naturally. Your breath slows, your eyelids grow heavy, thoughts drift like soft fog. But after age 60, as Harvard Health explains, our ability to produce and utilize GABA declines, especially in those who have lived with long-term stress. That's why sleep becomes fragile, and falling asleep feels like trying to grab smoke. Teacup without handle, and here, where chamomile tea, soft as it seems, becomes a plant-based GABA whisper. Chamomile contains a pygenin, a natural flavonoid. It binds directly to GABA receptors in your brain, gently reducing overstimulation and inviting natural sleep. A WebMD, Cleveland Clinic. Unlike sleeping pills that force you to sleep, chamomile doesn't push, it simply whispers to your brain, "You're safe now, it's time to let go." A speech balloon: I remember a patient, June 66. A retired school teacher with a beautiful energy but tired eyes. "I go to bed at 9:30, she told me, "but I lie there until midnight still wide awake. I keep remembering old students' class schedules from years ago. I don't want to remember, but my mind, it won't stop." I asked her, Have you ever tried chamomile tea? She chuckled. I thought that was just something trendy wellness folks do. But she agreed to try, and here's what I told her. Choose pure chamomile, no added flavors. Steep in hot water for 5-7 minutes. Let it cool slightly, drink warm. Sip it 45 to 60 minutes before bed. Don't add sugar. If needed, add a thin slice of ginger or a drop of real vanilla. Test tube the science. It's real and measurable. A 2015 study in the Journal of Advanced Nursing showed women over 65 who drank chamomile tea nightly for 2 weeks fell asleep 16 minutes faster on average and woke up 30% less often during the night. 80% reported deeper, more restful sleep. Not because of magic, but because a pygeon was quietly doing its job. Light bulb, and here's the beautiful thing. The power is in the simplicity. 1 tea bag, a bit of warm water, a quiet space, and one small intention. To make time to invite sleep in. Instead of just waiting for it to arrive, June came back to me weeks later, her face softer. I still think a lot, doctor. But now, the tea feels like a signal to my brain. Time to turn off the lights in here. Crescent moon chamomile tea doesn't knock you out like a pill. It simply opens the door for sleep to walk through. It doesn't carry you into dreams. But it reminds your brain it's okay to release, to let go, to rest. If your thoughts tend to spin after dark, if you've ever stared at the ceiling wondering why your brain won't shut up, if you've tried counting sheep or listening to soft music but still felt restless, try chamomile tea tonight. Not to fix insomnia, but to start a new ritual. A gentle act of kindness toward your mind. Direct hit, and in the next part, I'll introduce you to a drink that might sound unusual. It's not tea, it's not milk. It's warm coconut water. A gentle electrolyte restorer that can help prevent those 3 a.m. leg cramps and reduce how often your bladder wakes you up. Ever been jolted awake by a calf cramp? Or rushed to the bathroom after barely drinking anything? Then the next chapter is especially for you. There's a kind of wake-up in the middle of the night. That doesn't come from a dream. It doesn't come from thoughts, but rises from your body itself. A slight tightness in the calf, a vague pressure in the lower belly, not painful, but enough to stir you. You open your eyes, unsure why. You think maybe you need the bathroom, but you don't really. You wonder if it was a bad dream, but you remember no dream at all. You just know your body is trying to tell you something. I call that kind of moment the biological awakening. DNA, a quiet wake-up, and the whisper of your muscles. I've treated many older adults who don't have classic insomnia. They aren't anxious. They avoid screens before bed. Their sleep hygiene is fine, and yet they wake up around 1 or 2 a.m. almost like clockwork. We run labs, nervous system, hormones. But often the culprit is surprisingly simple. A subtle electrolyte imbalance, especially potassium and magnesium. Microscope electrolytes aren't just for athletes. If you struggle with sleep, you may need them too. You see, magnesium calms your autonomic nervous system. Potassium stabilizes nerve signals, especially in smooth muscles like your bladder, blood vessels, and intestines. When these minerals drop just slightly, you won't get a full muscle cramp, but your body will send a quiet alert. That tight for no reason feeling, a restless leg, a mild heartbeat shift, or vague tension you can't quite place. Mayo Clinic has noted, even small shifts in mineral balance can disrupt deep sleep cycles, especially in adults over 60. Melon and coconut water, often thought of as a summer drink, can become a nighttime guardian of your sleep. I used to overlook it myself, until I met Mr. Harvey, 74 years old. A retired Marine posture like a steel rod, but his sleep, fragile as tissue paper. I don't dream, he told me, but I wake up every night at exactly 1:48 a.m. Does it hurt? No. Are you worried? Not at all. Any sensation? Just a bit of tightness, like my calf is about to cramp but doesn't. Blood work revealed his potassium was 3.5 mmol/L, slightly below optimal. Not dangerous, but enough to disturb his sleep. I didn't prescribe a pill, I said. Try mixing half a cup of fresh coconut water with half a cup of warm water. Sip it slowly about an hour after dinner. No ice, no sugar. Counterclockwise arrows, button 5 nights later. He sat down in my office, smiled, and said, "For the first time in 3 months, I slept until 5 a.m. and this time, I didn't wake up because my body called me. I woke up because the sun did." Magnifying glass tilted right, why does coconut water work so well, especially for older adults? It naturally contains potassium, magnesium, and a bit of sodium, enough to restore electrolyte balance without overwhelming your system. It doesn't cause frequent urination like plain water, because its osmolarity is close to that of human plasma, Cleveland Clinic. When served warm, it becomes a stomach-friendly liquid, gentle, non-irritating, easy to absorb. A few cautions. If you have chronic kidney disease or need to limit potassium, always talk to your doctor before using coconut water regularly, especially if you're on diuretics. Light bulb how to drink it properly. Think of it like sending a handwritten letter to your body. Not a rushed text, 100-120 ml. Warmed, never cold. A sip slowly, 60-90 minutes after dinner. No added sugar. You can add a thin slice of ginger if your digestion is sensitive. Avoid it if your stomach is easily chilled. Crescent moon, not every nighttime awakening is caused by dreams. Sometimes, it's your body whispering for balance, and instead of labeling it insomnia, what if you listened? Sometimes all your body is asking for is a gentle, warm answer, like a quiet cup of coconut water, served right on time. Direct hit in the next part. I'll introduce you to a drink that many believe is just for joint pain, but is actually a key to unlocking deep, dreamless sleep. Warm dissolved gelatin, a natural source of glycine, which helps activate slow brain waves and quiet overstimulated nerves. If you've ever woken up thinking, "I don't even know why," then the next episode will explain exactly what's going on. There's a kind of sleep that's incredibly rare. No dreams, no tossing, no midnight signals from the body. It's quiet, like a soft instrumental melody playing in the background. And the next morning, you wake up feeling like a burden has been lifted, like you're light again. Brain deep sleep isn't about how long you sleep. It's about how deep you go. I've had many older patients tell me, "Doc, I sleep 7 hours every night, but I still wake up feeling tired, like I never truly rested." The reason, they sleep, but never make it to deep sleep. According to Harvard Medical School, after age 60, we lose up to 50% of our slow-wave sleep. The stage where the body truly repairs itself. This is when your immune system regenerates, your memories get sorted, and your cells repair damage from the day. Without it, you may as well be charging a phone, but only plugging it in halfway. Musical score and the quiet hero that helps you enter this state is something called glycine. Now I know glycine sounds like something from a chemistry class, but imagine it as background music for your brain. A gentle rhythm that says, "Let go, it's safe now." A 2007 study in neuropsychopharmacology found that just 3 grams of glycine before bed helped older adults fall asleep faster, wake up less during the night, and, most importantly, feel mentally clear the next morning. No brain fog. How does glycine work? It lowers your core body temperature slightly, a natural trigger for deep sleep. It calms the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that won't stop thinking at bedtime. And it boosts delta waves, the slow, restorative brain waves that only happen when you're deeply asleep. Speech balloon, let me tell you something personal, not from a patient this time, but from me. Doctors are human, too. And yes, I've dealt with my own share of sleepless nights, especially after late shifts. As I got older, I noticed my body wasn't bouncing back like it used to. I ate well, I meditated, but sleep still felt fragmented. So I tried gelatin, not with any high hopes, just scientific curiosity. I took 1 teaspoon of unflavored gelatin, stirred it into half a cup of warm water. No sugar, no additives. Drank it 45 minutes before bed. And you know what? I don't even remember falling asleep. What I do remember is waking up with a clear head, lighter eyes, and a sense that my memory had been freshly organized. It was subtle, but unmistakable. Bowl with spoon gelatin isn't just for Jell-O. It's a gift for the aging nervous system. Unlike melatonin, which only tells your body when to sleep, glycine builds the foundation that lets you stay there. It doesn't force sleep. It invites it gently, respectfully. And there's more. Gelatin is also rich in collagen, proline, and compounds that help rebuild your joints, restore muscles, and soothe digestion, especially useful if you get bloated at night. Light bulb how to take it, like a bedtime ritual for your nervous system. A 1 teaspoon of pure gelatin, no flavor, no sweeteners. Mix into about 120 ml, half a cup of warm water. Stir well, let it cool to warm and sip slowly. Drink it 30–45 minutes before bed. Avoid taking it with heavy food for better absorption. If you'd like a change in flavor, you can use light bone broth instead of water. Just make sure it's gentle, unsalted, and still contains gelatin. Crescent moon at our age, sleep doesn't come from exhaustion, it comes from stability. And sometimes, a warm cup of gelatin at night isn't a cure. It's a message you send to yourself. You've done enough, you deserve to rest now. Direct hit in the next part. We'll explore one of the most powerful and natural sources of melatonin. That's probably sitting, forgotten, in your refrigerator. Tart cherry juice, a simple drink that in clinical trials helped people sleep nearly an hour longer after just a few nights. If you've ever woken up too early, if your sleep always feels cut short, then the next episode is something you don't want to miss. We often think of melatonin as something that comes in a bottle, a supplement we take when we can't sleep. But here's something most people don't know. Melatonin existed long before capsules were invented. It's been quietly living inside a tiny red fruit for thousands of years, waiting to be noticed. Crescent moon when sleep comes, but leaves too soon. There was a man I treated, 70 years old, living alone in the suburbs. He'd go to bed like clockwork at 9:30 p.m. He fell asleep quickly, but then he woke up at 3 a.m. every night. "Doc," he said, "I don't have insomnia, I just can't stay asleep. And once I'm up, I can't get back to sleep. That kind of sleep, it's just enough to survive, but not enough to restore." So I asked him, "Have you ever heard of melatonin from tart cherries?" He chuckled. "I thought cherries were just for pies. Test tube natural melatonin, no pills required. Melatonin is a hormone made by your pineal gland. It signals the brain when it's time to sleep. But according to Harvard Health Publishing, our natural melatonin levels begin to decline around age 50. And after 60, many people simply don't make enough to stay asleep through the night. Now here's the part that might surprise you. A study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food, 2010, found that people over 50 who drank 240 ml, about 8 Oz of Montmorency Tart cherry juice daily, split into 2 servings, slept 84 minutes longer on average each night, and had significantly better sleep quality scores. Cherries, why is this little fruit so powerful? First, tart cherries contain naturally high levels of melatonin, more than most fruits. Second, they also provide tryptophan and anthocyanins, compounds that reduce inflammation in the nervous system and support better hormonal signals. Sources: Mayo Clinic and WebMD. And unlike synthetic melatonin, which can sometimes disrupt your body clock if used incorrectly, plant-based melatonin works more gently, more gradually, and without dependency. Speech balloon, just one small glass can bring big change. I told that man, try 120 ml, about half a cup of pure tart cherry juice. No sugar, no blends, just the real stuff. Drink it after dinner, not too close to bedtime. And if your stomach is sensitive, warm it slightly before drinking. Do it for 5 nights and jot down how you feel each morning. A week later, he called me. His voice was soft but not sleepy. Doc, this morning I woke up at 5:15, not startled, not anxious. I just opened my eyes like my body had finished its work. First time in years, I've woken up without feeling like something was missing. Light bulb how to use it properly, to get the benefits without the setbacks. I choose 100% tart cherry juice. No sugar, no additives. Drink 120 ml, 4 Oz, once a day. Ideally 60-90 minutes before bed. Don't drink on an empty stomach, to avoid a mild drop in blood sugar. In colder months, warm it slightly to avoid bladder sensitivity. If you're on blood thinners or have gout, ask your doctor first, due to natural purines in cherries. Person in lotus position sometimes. What you need isn't a stronger pill, but a gentler rhythm. A small glass, a quiet moment after dinner, a slower pace in a fast world, and just enough natural melatonin for your brain to finally understand. The day is done. There's nothing more to fix, finish, or chase. It's just you now and rest. Direct hit in the next part. I'll share a strange but surprisingly powerful bedtime drink. One that doesn't help you sleep directly, but works by stabilizing your blood sugar at night, which may be the real reason you're waking up at odd hours. It's simple: warm water plus raw apple cider vinegar plus a touch of honey. If you've ever woken up with a mild heart flutter, slight chill, or mental fog, your blood sugar might be the hidden trigger, and that's what we'll explore next. There are nights when you wake up, not from a dream, not from pain, but from something else, something quiet. A soft thump in your chest, a coolness in your skin, your eyes open, and you don't know why. Have you ever felt that? Test tube waking without knowing. It might be your blood sugar whispering. Even while you sleep, your brain needs fuel. And when your blood sugar drops too low, just slightly, your brain wakes you up not in panic, but as a gentle nudge. Hey, I need something. According to Cleveland Clinic, older adults who eat early dinners or follow very low-carb diets are at higher risk for asymptomatic nocturnal hypoglycemia, mild overnight drops in blood sugar that don't cause dizziness, but are enough to break your sleep. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism also found people over 60 with fluctuating nighttime glucose levels spent less time in deep sleep, and experienced more frequent micro-awakenings, the kind you don't always remember, but still rob your body of rest. Speech balloon. I remember Ellen, 67, a careful woman who meant well. She ate light to be healthy. Vegetarian, avoided sugar. Gentle exercise every day. But still, every night, like clockwork, she'd wake up at 2:30 a.m., no urge to pee, no anxious thoughts. I just feel like I should be awake, she told me, so I asked, do you feel a little chilled when you wake up, like your hands or feet are oddly empty? She nodded, yes. Exactly. I didn't prescribe pills. I gave her something old yet gentle. Warm water with raw honey and apple cider vinegar. Red honey. Why this simple mix works. Raw honey provides natural glucose, absorbed slowly, giving your brain just enough fuel to stay asleep, without causing a sugar spike. Apple cider vinegar, rich in acetic acid, improves insulin sensitivity and helps stabilize post-meal glucose swings. Source, Harvard Health. Together, they form a kind of gentle anchor, keeping your blood sugar stable, so your brain doesn't feel the need to sound the alarm in the middle of the night. Light bulb. How to use it, like a soft ritual after dinner. 1 teaspoon organic raw apple cider vinegar, unfiltered, with the mother. 1/2 teaspoon raw honey. Mix into 150 ml, about 5 oz of warm water, not hot. Drink 60-90 minutes after dinner, not on an empty stomach. Avoid if you have severe acid reflux. And remember, this isn't dessert. It's a small guardian at your door, watching over your night. Crescent moon sleep isn't only broken by noise. It's often broken by tiny imbalances from within. I'll never forget the look in Ellen's eyes when she came back a week later. I still woke up at 2:30, she said. But this time, I didn't open my eyes. I felt the moment pass, but my body didn't panic. I drifted back down, everything softened. And I thought, maybe we don't need to fight to stay asleep. Maybe we just need to help the body feel safe enough to keep resting. Direct hit in the next and final part will bring this journey to a gentle close. I'll walk you through every drink we've talked about, from almond milk to tart cherry juice, from golden turmeric lattes to warm coconut water, and I'll help you choose the right one for your body, based on your sleep patterns, your signals, your needs. Because your body isn't broken. It's a song, and sometimes you just need the right note to lull yourself into the deep night.